Soundstripe.
Yeah. What's happening, everybody? I'm here just getting it together, trying to get my life together, see what's happening, see what's going on. And that's what's happening. So good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, wherever you may be watching us from. I want to say what's up to everybody. Happy to have y'all on with us today. Go ahead and share with your family, friends. Well, I'm not really sure if you want to share it with your family and your friends. But I do know that we want to get ready for a good time. Not going to be on here long, but I'm going to be on here strong. I can promise you that. It's the Talking in the TIMple podcast. Toxic waste. We're dealing with it right now. I'm hanging out. Want to thank everybody. Make sure you go ahead and like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Y'all know how we do it. Want to make sure everybody knows what to do. So as you come on, if you are watching me live or if you are about to watch this replay, I want to remind all of y'all to make sure you support the podcast. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And if you have subscribed to the channel, make sure you go ahead and share the channel. We're getting ready to get down on some toxic waste. Today we're going to be talking about toxic environments. Man, there's a lot of that going on. It's a Monday. I'm excited. Looking forward to each of y'all. Say what's up, where you're viewing from. When you do come on, make sure you let us know. Holla at your boy, in other words. All right? So listen, let's get down on it. Let's get ready to get with it. And here we are. So I'm really excited to be here. Glad to have y'all with us today. If you are with us today. Trying to get back on schedule, man. I got a lot going on. Got a lot happening in my life. Whole lot going on in the world. And so today, first of all, happy Monday. Happy to see myself, at least. Happy to have y'all on here. Y'all know this is my personal podcast, so this ain't the preacher stuff. Did all that yesterday. Really happy about that. Had a great time. And yeah, hopefully everybody that was part of that enjoyed it and got something good out of it. I try to get my glasses right. And yeah, we're talking about toxic environments. Um, First of all, just want to um, shout out all my family and friends. Say what's up to everybody. Then I want to talk about right quick. Got to tell you all this. So I watched the Netflix, the Cowboys. Was the cowboy and his gambler, or the gambler and his Cowboys? Jerry Jones. Check that out. It was actually quite interesting. It was actually quite interesting. Um, I think I have a newfound respect for Jerry Jones. I think I do. I'm not sure if I do. I kind of think I do. I do respect him because the dude jumps out there. The boy ain't scared. Let me tell you that right now. My man gets out there and he pushes all the chips in. He pushes he pushes everything in. And what he's done with the Cowboys, I used to be down with the Cowboys back in the '90s. As a matter of fact, when Emmett, Mike, and Troy and all of them were playing, um, but mainly when Jimmy Johnson was coaching, because I understood what that meant. Um, the culture that he created, the environment that he had. I think all of that is extremely important from the standpoint of understanding that environment matters. Okay, I just happen to be talking about toxic environments, right? So I think trying to see what's happening here. Y'all hang on. Raise me up. There I am. What's happening? There we go. So anyway, talking about environments and really getting to the point now where if you watch the Cowboys, if you watch that Netflix, if you watch what's happening in real time, and I was already going to do this whole piece, this whole toxic environment piece, and going to do it for a few days on the podcast. I was watching an interview, Stephen A. Smith, Jerry Jones. That interview kind of pissed me off a little bit. Now, if the facts were true, um, then it would give cause for pause. But because I don't have enough information on it, I certainly can't speak on it, on whether or not the facts are true. But it isn't smart, to be talking contract when you have an agent to do that talking for you, especially when you're paying them 3% of your contract. But watching the Netflix series, watching that series, I binge watched it. I watched the whole thing. And I really watched it to kind of study it because I knew I was going to be talking about toxic environments. And so looking at the cultural shifts, the cultural changes that took place over the last 30 years for the Dallas Cowboys, and how, what is it that you go from the summit and pinnacle of success and celebrity and celebration to you just fall into this valley of like dry bones. I mean, just you haven't won anything in 30 years. Haven't been to an NFC championship game in 30 years. You were the team of the 90s. And you had a squad that could have kept going for at least 2 or 3 more years. And then just recently, you've had 2 or 3 squads that should have at least been able to compete, right, in the playoffs. Hasn't happened. Let's see here. You've grown the team, the value of the team, the monetary value of the team has grown by $9 or $10 billion. Now you haven't won anything, so you're a hell of a marketer and you're a hell of a promoter. And I don't know what you put in those Pepsis at that AT&T Stadium or what you put in those hot dogs or those nachos, but those Cowboys fans are crackheads, and revenue keeps going up and losses keep trailing right behind. toxic environments. I could really talk more about how do you go from this pinnacle and this summit to plunging into this pitiful pool of sports poverty. Not revenue, but sports poverty. Toxic environments. They are really everywhere, y'all. Toxic environments. Um, and I was thinking, and as I was thinking about not the toxic environments that you can see, like the Michael Parsons, um, David Mulugeta, that's his agent, obviously, and Jerry Jones, in case you haven't been keeping up with it. Um, yeah, that is something that you can see. That's something that you can smell. That's something that you can taste. It's it's ocular and optical. You can it's tangible. You can see it. You know it's there. But today, for just a few minutes, I want to talk about those carbon monoxide toxic environments. Yeah. I I looked at this carbon monoxide, right? It's odorless, it's colorless, you know. Uh, when you look at it, it's lethal. Mm. And what I found out was is that some environments just like that. Now, here's the thing: it's odorless, it's colorless, but it's lethal. But the issue is it's undetectable. Hmm. Yeah, undetectable. The only time you can detect it is after damage is already underway. Y'all stay with me. I just want to have a conversation. So this isn't like an entertainment podcast. So if you're looking for like the gossip and the gossip, all the rhetoric that's going on out there, go somewhere else. But I just want to have conversations, right? And I look at different stuff. And today we're going to learn that carbon monoxide, what it does to the body, mm, um, and what it does to the mind, what it does to the overall makeup of your human existence when you talk about this carbon monoxide. I want to borrow some lessons from that to recognize really the invisible toxicity that some of us have in our environments. Yeah. Some of that colorless, odorless, lethal leakage that can land in our lives. So, toxic environments. One thing I know about toxic environments is that they can appear in unsuspecting places. Mhm. Watch this: church, in our homes, obviously on our jobs. I mean, that may be, whoa, I don't know what that is. I don't know what's happening. I started getting static. Oh, I don't know. I just got static. Okay. Um, so, toxic environments, um, family systems, believe it or not, here, online spaces, you know, toxic environments. When you first meet somebody, you're all cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. You're all just, oh my God, I'm just so in love. I'm just so enamored and so taken aback. Unsuspecting places. That is an unsuspecting place that you would find a toxic environment, a brand new association. People aren't oftentimes looking for toxicity in brand new associations because they are so concerned and consumed with the newness of the association, especially if they are people who aren't cool with themselves. Lord have mercy. But you got family systems, you got, you know, obviously workplaces. Like I said, toxic environments. TikTok. TikTok's a toxic environment. Instagram, Facebook, X, um, Kick, Kicker, what's this other one? Discord. They have all types of online spaces that can be toxic environments. I have trolls um, that come on my social media pages, and they do what they do. They troll. You know, they they try to talk about you. They try to say things about you, say things to you. And sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, I entertain them because for me, whatever you're saying, you're not really pissing me off. You're just really giving me something to do when I don't have anything else to do. So when I talk to the poor little tink tinks and I realize just how much space I'm taking up in their lives, them not realizing how little space they're taking up in mine, I just decide to entertain them sometimes to try to make the space that I do take up in their lives, I don't know, have some validity. Watch this. Even if it's just this, I finally got his attention. Shut up. Anyway, toxic environments, carbon monoxide. Uh, since they're odorless, um, yeah, I guess they are senseless. Um, they're invisible. And I started thinking, breathe. I'm only going to hit the B in breathe today. Because when you talk about carbon monoxide, it's odorless, it's tasteless, it's senseless, right? But it's lethal. And you don't really know the damage it's done until you breathed too much of it in and your lungs have inhaled and ingested those lethal gases. So, over the next few podcasts, and Wednesday, I'm going to come out the gate a whole lot stronger. Today, I wanted to come on just because I want to honor the time that I said I was going to come on. Breathe. Okay. Um, this is how you handle these toxic environments. The letter B in breathe, I'm going to give you a hole across it. Here's what you got to do. You've got to be able, no, you've got to be willing, because all of us are able. But you've got to be willing, here it is, y'all, to build boldly boundaries. You have to boldly build boundaries, or you have to build boldly boundaries or build boundaries boldly. The point is, I think you get what I'm saying. If you're going to breathe in a toxic environment when you've been exposed to an odorless, tasteless, senseless environment that is fully lethal, man, you got to have another source that allows you to breathe. And the first thing you've got to do is you've got to be willing to build boundaries boldly, or boldly build your boundaries, or build boldly your boundaries. But the point that I'm making is you got to write out, you got to make sure that you understand, watch this, what your non-negotiables are. Wish I had somebody with me right now. Here are my non-negotiables. Here are my exceptions. And here are even my acceptances. But I'm telling you right now, when these three things are identified, call it the red line. Yeah. And wherever you make decisions, whether it be with family, whether it be with friends, at the church, on the job, online, wherever you are, when we are talking about toxic environments, when we are talking about carbon monoxide, that odorless, that tasteless, that senseless, when I say senseless, I'm saying it does not impact nor does it trigger any of your senses until you have inhaled and ingested it to a point to where you begin to feel and discover the symptoms of having been exposed to it. These toxic environments, the carbon monoxide environments, if you're going to be able to survive the carbon monoxide toxic environments, not the ones that are obvious, not the ones that are familiar. I'm talking about those that are uncomfortable. There may be some carbon monoxide toxic environments that you have not discovered because you don't want to see it as a toxic environment. You don't want to see that some of your best friends could be some of the highest levels of toxicity. You don't want to see that some of your family members could be the highest levels of toxicity in a carbon monoxide packaging. You don't want to see that new boo or that new bae could possibly be representing some carbon monoxide toxicity that's odorless and tasteless and senseless, and you don't realize how toxic they are until you look back and see how you feel every time you've ingested or inhaled whatever they're putting out. I'm done. B, build boundaries boldly. I paused on purpose. I leaned in on purpose. Told you this isn't the podcast for entertainment. This isn't the podcast to get the latest news, which I may be doing all that type of stuff, and I reserve the right to do any of that. But ultimately, what we do when we come to the temple and we talk, we gonna talk about the stuff that's gonna help you walk. Yeah. Carbon monoxide. I'm going to be talking about it over the next several podcasts, so get ready for it. Tell your friends, tell your family. You better tell them they want to be a part of this. I promise you, even the live, because I'm going to be taking live calls. But I'm starting with B. All right. Build boundaries boldly. Here are my non-negotiables. Here are my exceptions. And here are my acceptances. Bottom line is, y'all, you can't build boundaries boldly if you are always needing, watch this, people to be in your space. Can't do it. You have to be okay with yourself. You have to be okay with how things are rocking. You got to be okay with how things are going or how they're not going. Three things: your non-negotiables, and they need to be non-negotiable. The second thing is, what are the exceptions that I'm willing to make? And the third thing is, what are the acceptances I'm willing to take. Y'all got it? Carbon monoxide, toxic environments. Odorless, tasteless, senseless, but lethal. Won't even know that you've had too much of it until you're about dead if it hadn't already killed you. We'll catch you Wednesday talking at the Temple. Temple Talk. Peace.